Hello, hello, hello. It is the latest edition of the Dr. Kre and Me show. So happy to have you. Last week I couldn't make it because I was sick and barely had a voice. So Hurricane Michael and seasonal allergies had the absolute best, got the best of me. So I'm here. I'm not going to be here a short while tonight because it is starting to rain at my house and my connection always sucks. So when you get in, let me know who's here so I can see. Here's being your broadcast. Myself. Hey Maggie, what's up? How you doing? Thanks for sharing my post on the direct primary care changes that we're making starting in February. We're so excited. Thank you for sharing the news article and getting the word out there. I think there's a niche for it, and I think people will be blessed. So we'll get started in about 2 more minutes. I hope you had a great day today, and it's the weather starting to change, and I like fall, but I like it to be either fall or I like it to be either summer, so I don't want it to be 95 degrees tomorrow. So tonight we're going to be talking about mammograms, and when you get in here, let me know right in the post when your last mammogram was. I'll tell you guys a little tonight about when my last mammogram was. Zoe, didn't I tell you I was doing my Facebook Live? Take that water and go Prince. No, it's not. Prince right on out of there. Okay, you know who I am. I'm Dr. Kre. I'm your board certified family medicine physician through my awesome Facebook live show, Dr. Kre and Me show, and my awesome practice, Brownstown Total Family Healthcare. I help just ordinary people live extraordinary lives by being empowered with living well, knowing well, and knowing all that you're supposed to know about your health. So tonight we're going to talk about mammograms. I've been seeing in the news that some things, there may be some changes in the recommendations, and I want to just give you a couple of little tidbits. So when you get here, say hi, let me know that you're here so I can speak back and where you're watching from. So tonight we're going to talk about mammograms. Of course, you know that of course all of you know that hey Lashana, of course all of you know that that you need to I can see you now. Hey Miss Brasfield. Of course all of you know that October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Last weekend was the big Susan G. Komen walk. Susan G. Komen is the main one that does the hey Miss Glenn is the one that does all of the big breast cancer research. But did you know, number one, that that actually now as an African American woman, you can have your first mammogram at the age of 35 or after, depending on your insurance. Can somebody type that in the comments for me? Number one, for African American females, mammograms can be done at the age of 35. You get one screening mammogram at 35, and then as long as everything looks good, you pick back up at 40 years old with your yearly. So last year I turned 35, and I got my first mammogram. So my Lord, child. So I was so nervous, and I called my mom. I was like, I'm gonna have a mammogram. She was like, you always think something wrong with you. Why are you going to the doctor? Blah blah blah. I was like, I don't think anything's wrong. I know that they'll cover a screening mammogram at 35. I'm 35 and a half. I'm going to go ahead on. No, I was 36 then because I'm 37. So I did it at 36. So, hey Pam. Hey Miss Pam. How you doing? So I decided to go ahead on and get it done. Walked over there, gave them my little insurance card. They said I was well. They get me in the back, y'all, and they give me this little gown. Hey Tiffany, give you a little gown. And she was like, we'll call you next whenever it's your time. Sitting there with my gown, braless, ready for this test. I get in there and I get so tickled. I laughed till I cried when I saw the machine, because I had imagined in my mind that the mammogram machine was like silver and cold, and like the forceps you put in when you get ready to have a baby, or like the speculum, like that kind of feeling. And the lady was like, ma'am, why are you laughing so hard? Why is this so, what, are you okay? I was like, ma'am, this looks nothing like I had imagined. I have patients to go in. They come out, they're like, I'm never going back to get a mammogram again. They hurt my boob. They squished my boob. They did all these things. And I was like, this looks nothing like I had imagined. I imagined it to be like in a dungeon. And these silver things were going to clamp down on my breasts. Oh my gosh, but it was a plastic. It was plastic. So it was plastic. I was very amazed that it was a plastic material. And the lady was really, really good. She propped me up there because I was a little short. So I had to kind of stand on my tippy toes. Propped up there. Made me turn all of the different angles. And I had my results back within a couple of days that they were benign. And that I have a little cyst on this left side that I knew about. So she was able to look and say, yep, it's just a cyst. I see it sitting there. So I was like, okay, well, thank the Lord. But I was so amazingly, hey, Miss Spencer, I was so amazingly surprised that it was not that bad. So, make sure that if you are at least 35 years old, you try and get your screening mammogram. Now, why is this the case? African American women die at a faster rate than other races, and we tend to have more aggressive breast cancers when we're diagnosed. So that's why when I say insurance covers it, it's more like the task force and the people that makes all the rules for screening. That might be the Breast Cancer Society, American Cancer Society, National Task Force for Health. They all make these rules. And so the getting your baseline screening at 35, 36 is important, because I have 2 women or 3 women that were diagnosed with breast cancer in their 20s. They were some extreme cases, got treated fast, had someone that was listening to them and that heard them. I was like, I got this mass, something's not right. I got dribbling, whatever. So make sure that you know that this is out here. This is a new enough recommendation that a lot of doctors may not even realize. Some of the doctors may not realize that you can do it now. You can get this order from your primary care physician, or you can get it from your OBGYN. And then I'll be getting mine in a couple of years again when I turn 40. It was not that scary, guys. Okay, just want you to know, get in there. So number 1, somebody type that in for me. If you're African American, you can get a baseline mammogram at about 35, 36 years old of age. Number 2, if breast cancer runs in your family, you may need your screening sooner. So let's talk about that. If your mom was diagnosed with breast cancer when she was 40, you need to get your first mammogram when you were 30. Or if your mom was diagnosed when she was 50, you still get yours. If you're African American, you get yours at 35, 36. Or if you're a Caucasian or another race, any other race, you get it at 40. You get it at 40. You want to get it 10 years prior to when your closest loved one had their diagnosis. So when we talk about mom, we're talking about sisters and maybe even grandparents. But they want your first degree relative, mainly mom and siblings. So if they had the diagnosis of breast cancer, then we need to get it taken care of. Like, get it checked out and have baseline mammograms. Big shout out to Dr. Princess Thomas here in Birmingham. She's down in St. Vincent's, Birmingham, and she's a breast specialist. So if you have an abnormal mammogram, and even if it says it's just benign, but it's suspiciously benign, it's not all the way benign to me, you can go see Dr. Princess Thomas at St. Vincent's, Birmingham. She's awesome. We've sent women. Thank you, Miss Pam. We send women all the time. If things don't look right on mammogram, she helps with breast cancer as well. So number 1 is baseline mammogram at 35 to 36. If you're African American female, everyone else, you get your baseline at 40 years old. I still recommend getting them every single year after you turn 40. Okay. Hey, LeRose, thank you for joining us, Miss Minor. Number 2 is if you have family history of breast cancer, you need your screening 10 years prior to the year that they got diagnosed, to their age. So if they were 40, you need your first mammogram at 30. If they were 50 and you're African American, you're going to get your first one at 35, or you're going to get your first one at 40 if you are non-African American. And number 3, be a big advocate for your health. If you feel like it's something that feels different, and breast cancer feels like a rock, the majority of the time it feels like, do you remember when if you ever was raised in the country and there were these smooth rocks, smooth long rocks like that, just smooth rocks that you would throw in a pond, throw in a pond? That's kind of what it feels like. So when women come in and say, I found a lump, I need you to check it out. So first thing I'm going to do is I want to check the good breast, see what the good breast feels like compared to the other side. I know what lumpy, bumpy breast feels like. If you have a high caffeine diet, high coffee diet, all of those things can make your breasts feel lumpy. If you are close to being on your cycle, your breasts feel different. That's why you need to be your biggest advocate as far as your breasts are concerned, because you know what they feel like. I've had women whose husbands have found them, have been intimate, and been like, something's not right here. Sure enough, it was breast cancer. You'll be surprised at the stories on how we found breast cancer in women. So in about the last 6 months, I have diagnosed at least 2 or 3. And that's how they feel. For the lack of another way to explain it, they feel like one of those smooth rocks from any country that you be throwing in water, skipping rocks or whatever. It feels just like that, but it's up under the skin. It typically doesn't hurt. It just sits there. And they're like, I have this painless mass, a painless lump. It doesn't bother me, so I just kind of been watching it. So yeah, if you have a painless, that's number 3. A painless lump is not an okay lump. We need that lump to be checked out. So what typically happens is you go to we seen for ultrasound first. They usually immediately get the mammogram. If a mammogram is abnormal, your doctor is called the same day. Doctors call the same day. We get you on the phone. We get you, if you're in Birmingham, we get you into Dr. Princess Thomas as soon as possible. She usually does in-office biopsies so that she can get the information back as soon as possible. If it's positive, she gets you some surgical clearance. You having surgery within that month. So we're pretty aggressive on the quicker we can get the surgery, the quicker we can find the stage, the quicker you can get chemo. And remember, nowadays, you can take pills. The breast cancer, there are pills out there. I have women that never done any chemo, never done any radiation, have gotten either lumpectomy or total mastectomies. You can get either or. They tell you based on the stage and what they tell you based on, they kind of give you the option, but they give you the options, either removing the lump or going ahead on to get the whole breast taken out. So number 1, baseline at 35, 36 if you're African American. Your baseline is at 40 if you're not African American. Number 2, family history. Get your screening earlier. If your mom or your sister had it at 40, you need to get yours at 30. And if they've had it over 50, you still get yours at 40. And number 3, and lastly, you are your biggest advocate. African American women die at alarmingly higher rates than other races I'm just not sure if it's genetic predisposition. But I have patients. I had a lady today I saw, and she was 9 years cancer free. I have them 25 years cancer free. And I mean, I've seen them take some of us out and take them out real fast. But you got to be an advocate. When you get to be Medicare age, around 65 or so. Hey, Sharika, Medicare will only pay for it every 2 years. That is just kind of how the way of life with Medicare. But there are some sales out there. They have the $99 breast cancer sale, usually during October at imaging centers. There are cash prices. I recommend you getting your mammogram every single year because there are a lot of things that can happen in 2 years. Okay. So, if you have any questions, put them in the chat. Put them in the post. I will be replying later on. And I just wanted you to know that about that screening before the age of 40, which is awesome, so that you'll have a baseline. They'll have something to compare to when you get to be 40. So put your questions in the chat if you have any. If not, share the post. You know who I am. I'm Dr. Kre. I'm your board certified family medicine physician. And I specialize in you helping you live a healthier, happier whole life. Because I feel like when you know better, you do better. And I'm here to empower you to just be healthy. Hey, Glenda. I'm here to empower you to be just healthy, happier, and whole. So follow me on Instagram if you don't follow me there. At Dr. Kre, that's DOCTORKRE. You see glimpses of Zoe on my Dr. Kre Instagram all of the time. And if you are my patients at Brownstone, you should be getting a letter from her soon. Give us a call if you have any questions. 205-202-5650. Have a good night. It's about to rain. Stay warm because it's getting cold outside. Oh, and take your allergy medicine too because the weather's changing. Bye.